happy living here. I love entrepreneurs and artists and longevity experts and innovators and people from every walk of life that have discovered their reason for being on this planet. And that's why I love Dr. Melissa Peterson. She's an entrepreneur and just happens to be a longevity expert and transformational epigenetic success coach too. So Melissa, welcome to the Something Significant Show.
Matt, thank you so much. It is absolutely a joy to be here. I'm excited for our conversation today.
Awesome. So start off by telling our viewers and listeners about the exciting things you're doing to leave your exclamation mark of significance on the world.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we all are here with great meaning, purpose, and impact. And for me, that looks like helping people to truly understand that more is possible. So right now I've got the Longevity Summit, the Codes of Longevity book, and the Limitless Lab podcast. And they're all one part of the same type of platform, which is a conversation to go out and touch lives, to let each and every one of us know that more is possible. We put perceived limitations upon ourselves consciously or unconsciously, unknowingly, most of the time. Yet when we can have a breakthrough, an awareness, a new aha moment, that's what opens the doorway to greater up-leveling and expressions of our own ability to flourish and thrive. And to me, that's my legacy exclamation project, is to let people know that they are more than they've been led to believe, and I'm going to give them the tools and the path to experience that within themselves.
Awesome. Give me 30 seconds on why somebody should sign up for your online summit on longevity.
Well, if they want to know how they can look and feel and live life optimized, both here and now and to 120 and beyond, then they want to go sign up. We're going to be interviewing and speaking to more of 50 of the world's leading experts that will surely inspire and delight you to know how to look and feel and live your best life.
Awesome. All right, let's journey back a little bit in time and tell us what you were doing in 2010.
2010, I was a partner in an integrative health and wellness practice. So every day I was caring for my patients coming in and optimizing their health and their life.
And then how about 10 years before that, back in 2000?
Yeah, so this may not be the answer you or the listeners expect, but in 2000, I was on the #1 rated television show at the time, World Championship Wrestling. So I was an on-air personality and talent, a live television show, broadcast in cities around the country. So 3-4 days a week, I'd be out on the road entertaining, and then I'd come home a couple of days a week and be working in my practice with patients.
See, I love that. I love this exploration because time changes so much.
Yeah.
And sometimes when we're looking, especially we're looking at transformations, we're looking at, instant success and instant feedback. So share just quickly your views about the idea that it really does take a lifetime to create the life of your dreams.
All right, well, here's what I'll say to that. I truly believe that the life of our dreams is being created in the here and now. So each moment is what creates the next moment. So this moment is an expression of our past, yet what happens here is going to define our future. And so yes, we've been sold this idea that it's supposed to be instant gratification. And so sometimes it can feel like life isn't happening the way I thought it would. It's out there somewhere and I've got to keep grinding and working harder, yet it's happening right here, right now. And to the extent that we're willing to lean into our own joy, instead of making it about everything outside of us, and we really say, I want to go in and I want to light my passion, my desire, my interest, my curiosity. I want to spend more time with self-care and self-love. We will be able to be designing that true dream life, if you will. And so it's never going to be like, well, one day I'll get there. You get to experience it in the here and now while also creating it. And yes, every little piece of your journey does stack up and inform the next piece. Some of it's lessons that we go, yes, more of this. And others are lessons where we say thanks and no thanks. I've decided this no longer fits me, and that's okay too. So it's the accumulation, the cultivation of really creating that just amazing life.
Very good. So Melissa, as you know, my unique definition of significance contains 4 elements, but I'll remind you of them. Doing things you love, in places you love, with people you love, and then creating something of value to others. So it's doing and it's giving.
Yeah.
But to be a giver, you need excess capacity, right? So what are your personal practices, whether it's physical, mental, spiritual, financial, emotional? What are your practices for increasing your capacity so you can take good care of yourself and still have more to give to others?
Yeah, I love this. This is a great question, Matt. And I want everybody to know the most important part of giving is first filling yourself up. We have to be whole and full within ourselves before we can go out and give. And oftentimes we think, well, it's in the giving that I'll receive. I give to get. And that's absolutely the exact opposite of where your power truly comes from. And so my own personal kind of wholeness practice, if you will, of what I do each day to support myself. And I will say that I didn't always get this, right? So I can sit here now with some wisdom and insights, yet for a long time, I was the grinder and the hustler and the go, 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 because I can make a lot of things happen. I'm always been a high performer, high achiever. And that's a lot of the clients that come and work with me. And so that means for too long, I was giving, and burning the candle at both ends at the expense, right, of my own self and well-being, and primarily around with time with my family and the things that I really love, and even the results of the work that I loved. And so step one is about recognizing, am I out of balance, right? So it's got to begin within, and it's okay to actually be selfish. That's being selfless. Life best on self first. And so I think probably the most important practice for me is that I've always done, and I absolutely do, and even my family does. It's kind of the what went well, what is going well game. Super obvious and easy for the brain to want to find what's not, right? That's its natural wiring to see the potential threats. But what that means is it can feel like we're living in a life of lack, which is a total illusion. And so if we just ask ourselves, what's going well? What's gone well? What went well today? What's showing up for me? What's happening for me? What's working out for me right now? That in and of itself shifts our brain to align with the things that are filling us, that feel like never, like the idea of thinking that there's not enough is what leaves us drained, right? So the moment we know that it's here, that actually energizes us. So the what went well game is one, taking time to move every morning. I get up, I go out, I get some natural sunlight, making sure that I'm just taking time to connect with the rhythm and the cycles of the day, listening to my birds, having a good cup of coffee, just being fully in gratitude. Then throughout the day, and I think this is really important, now more than ever, many of us are at computers. And so it's absolutely important to take breaks at minimum every 90 minutes. So 60 to 90 minutes, this brain needs a reset, anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes, just to go have some space where it's not working. And you can go play and have fun, pet the dogs, go outside, go for a walk, jump around, listen to music, hydrate your body, right? So it's being mindful of the moments to reset so that I can go back and really flourish.
I did the same thing. I set a timer, and in my old playing days of football, I was 41. So I set my timer every 41 minutes. It goes off. I don't always get up and go, but very often I do. And it's just a little nice break in the day. Otherwise, there's always something you can just do more right here, and your day's gone. So.
Yeah. And I'll say, Matt, really quickly, that within that, the more that you're willing to do that for yourself, the more you realize that you actually get done. So you can do more with less. And it's a very real phenomenon.
The big thing that you said is what do you say, what went well game?
Yeah.
I think I say it in different languages, but move toward what makes you feel good.
Yeah.
And when something's not making you feel good, really, really question it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to do things, because of responsibility or whatever, that they don't make you feel good, but they're important. That's great. But a lot of times we get trapped in legacy things that we no longer need to do. They don't make us feel good, and we just stay in them.
Yeah.
And so I think your what went well game is a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff, Melissa. So let's take a quick commercial break to spread a little love for our awesome sponsors, Zona Plus and Happy Living. Mr. Happy Living here. I love good things made by good people. That's why I love Zona Plus, the world's first software-controlled handheld device that improves cardiovascular health. You're going to love it too. I use mine almost every day to keep my blood pressure right where it should be. What surprised me though is this little device has been adding muscle to my biceps too. I walk around all day feeling pumped. Check them out at Zona.com. Use coupon code HAPPY for $50 off. Plus, for every order placed during the month of October, I'll donate another $50 to WYTV7. Okay, we're back. This is the Something Significant Show, and I'm Matt Gersper. Hey, listeners, do yourself a big health favor. Go buy a Zona Plus right now, right after you've finished listening to this show. I love mine. I use it every day, and I know you're going to love yours too. But now let's get back to my special guest, Dr. Melissa Peterson. So Melissa, in my second book, Turning Inspiration into Action, I explore the idea that big transformations and discovery of purpose often come from devastation. Terrible illness, a sudden death, something horrible happens to shake your life. But I've used a happier way to create transformations in my life with inspiration. Mm-hmm. So my question is, was there a specific moment or situation when either devastation or inspiration revealed to you the purpose you were meant to live?
Interesting. And while I believe there's truth to, there's 100% truth to both sides. And, you know, sometimes tragedy, we need to make meaning out of it and turn it into triumph. And I think many people, to a greater or lesser extent, have gone through some form of trauma, tragedy, oppression, and some level, physically, mentally, emotionally, environmentally in their life. And so that can absolutely be one of those ahas. And for sure there were things that happened in my childhood, but I wouldn't say that was my, this has happened and I need to go let the world know about this or make sure this doesn't happen to anybody else. It wasn't that at all. I think for me, I always had an inner knowing that regardless of what I was, the environment I was in, the people I was exposed to, the unhealthy, terribly unhealthy relationships, to me, it was like, there's more than this. I just innately knew that there's more to this. And I was able to pull from within my own resilience and grit. I don't know how, I just was, right? That was just kind of how I was wired. And for me, it was constantly looking for that inspiration. Now, I didn't know. I think this is such an interesting conversation because here's the deal. So many of us think, what's my purpose? And people can get really hung up on, I don't know what my purpose is. And the reality is the inspiration for what is my life path? Why am I here doing this work of letting people know their limitless potential and possibility is, I guess, first I realized on my own journey that anytime there was limitation, that I chose not to accept that to define me. I was like, that's somebody else's limitation. That I'm at choice if that becomes my limitation. And this doesn't fit me. I choose not to make this mine. I know that I am more than this. And so I think probably in learning myself, right? Life showing choices to me. And we all get choices every day. I refer to it as kind of the contrast. We get to say yes or no, or no, thank you, or maybe not right now. And so it was through the constant kind of, I know there's more, I know there's more, I know there's more. And probably the one constant, I'm verbally processing because I was thinking about this, but as you've asked, some new things are coming up. So dance was constant throughout my life. I started when I was 2.5 years old and all the way through. And so then here I was, I'm getting my doctorate in chiropractic and natural health. And we actually had a dance team. And I was able to perform a piece, choreograph a piece that got us in the 1996 Olympics. So there I am dancing in front of the president at that time, kind of having these, imagine world stage, does it get any bigger than the opening ceremonies of the Olympics, right? Pretty profound and inspiring. So maybe that was the moment, because I just knew, like, I was getting ready to graduate with my doctorate and kind of go live a normal life, which I was excited about. But I was like, I love dancing, and I love this opportunity. And then what happened is, then I got onto television, right? And what I learned from that. So it wasn't just a direct linear. This was now years and gaps and things happening in between. But I went from the Olympics onto television, and did like a 3.5, 4-year run there. And it wasn't until after the show ended and after I got divorced that all of a sudden I really took the time. And I think life just kind of happens, we react versus being very intentional. And so what I hope people take away from this conversation today is, it's never too late to intentionally design the life of your dreams, because it does begin in the here and now. And it was when I sat down, and I wouldn't say it was despair, right? But just all of a sudden, the life I had known ended. And so there I was saying, well, now what? Mm-hmm. I can create anything I want. Do I want to keep doing what I was doing? And don't get me wrong, it's not like it was all, unicorns and rainbows. Like, it was still, a loss of a relationship, even if it wasn't the best. Like, as you go through a loss, you mourn, right? And yet it was saying, well, what do I want?
Right.
What do I want? What's in my heart? Yes, I love dancing, but I don't want to just dance. What is it about dancing, right? And so these are the questions. What is it specifically? What did I love about being on television? It wasn't just I'm on television. What did that give me? It gave me a platform. What I got from that platform, I had people around the world that I didn't even know, right? I had no idea. I'd never directly met them, telling me how I was changing their lives. I was like, that seems so weird. They don't even know me, right? Like, how me showing up and smiling and saying a few things and doing a few things, I'm changing people's lives. I wasn't even intentionally being inspiring, right? I was just showing up and being me. And that was inspiring to me, to go, wow, I have an opportunity that I wasn't conscious of, that now I am conscious of. And what if I could intentionally do more in the format where people respond to me on camera, right? On a larger platform, instead of one-to-one, what if I could go one-to-many and really make a massive impact in this world? So I know that was a long answer to a short but very important question. So was it trauma? No, not necessarily. It was a life of questioning and a life of believing more was possible, to then come into a moment and ask, instead of just kind of, well, we'll see, just saying, I'm going to sit in this. And I'm going to ask myself the tough questions. And I'm going to honor the answers that come up, even if they don't fit the package of how it's been, or somebody else's preconceived idea of how I should be living my life, right? What they think I should be doing. And so, and that's harder than it sounds, right? Because we have our family and our friends and our fans or whatever else. And you must be true to you if you're going to go truly live that life of your dreams.
Yep. You got to get out of your head and get into your heart. And
yep.
You're describing your transformations fit in my mind the way I wrote about mine in the book.
Yeah.
And so I'd say it was inspiration. You weren't shook. You were paying attention to where you wanted to go, and you went there, even though you might not have had, the backing or the approval to go there.
That's right. Yes.
And you've discovered, like I have, is when you combine capacity with purpose, the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's what I call my happy formula. Capacity plus purpose equals happy.
Yeah.
But I believe the real magic, the good stuff of life, comes from that fourth element of significance. So how has doing work that creates value to others brought joy and magic into your life?
Yeah, and you and I have spoken about this before. It's this natural feedback loop, because when we do go out and share and connect and give from a place of fullness and wholeness, not I'm going out to get validation. I'm not going out in hopes of becoming significant. It's going, I'm showing up on purpose with purpose, because regardless of what happens, I deeply love and care about this conversation, this idea, this, product, whatever it is, right? We each have our thing. as long as you're showing up in your own truth without any manipulative elements behind it,
Yeah.
what comes back is so pure that you're just like, you feel it, just it's so filling. And again, like as you give it, and you and I, again, it's kind of this endless, like you just, it is that evolution, that expansion, like you just are fuller than you could ever imagine. And it's not about doing huge big things.
No.
You know, I can get on a Zoom with my mastermind group, and like for me, one of the most fulfilling things are really heartfelt, authentic conversations, not the water cooler, like, oh, just he was on TV last night, not the surface stuff.
Right.
Because I believe that we all deeply, we are driven by the desire to connect. And that significance is in, where do I feel significant? Well, I feel significant when there's a real connection, right? Connection to an idea, connection of myself with another, that we can, doesn't even mean have to always agree, but we can connect in a really real way. And that is, it just, like I said, it just keeps creating this expansion, this fullness, this wholeness, that to me is the juice and the joy of life.
Oh, 100%. 100%. All right. I want to read a few of my very favorite quotes and then ask you to respond by telling us what it means to you.
Mm.
And kind of peppy, no more than 40, 45-second answers.
Woo, okay.
Ready, set, go. A total acceptance of yourself brings about a total transcendence of yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. When you love who you are, again, it's not about what you get in return. And so the transcendence of a give to get, it's this, you move into just this fuller state of connection, of love, of wholeness.
And I read that for the first time. I said, why in the world is it hard for us to totally accept ourselves?
Yeah.
It's insane. But it is a big, big step.
I have a whole, do you want the answer on it? Sure. The short answer is the story. It's the story that we've been told. And the important thing is to question, is the story really ours? And it's not. So when we begin to understand our own story and tell ourselves our own story and develop our own story and share it out, that's when true self-acceptance actually begins.
Right on. I love this one from Helen Keller. Security is mostly a superstition. It doesn't exist in nature.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Nothing is guaranteed in nature, right? What nature is, but what nature is, it's not security, it's cooperation. If you look at the true essence of what nature shows us, everything about nature is a cooperative experience.
You're perfect just as you are, and you could use a little improvement.
Says the ego. Says the, the Italian grandmother in your brain or whatever. That's hilarious. Yeah. That's the innate desire for more.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You mentioned this a little bit regarding the journey. It's good to have an end to your journey. No, I'm sorry. It's good to have an end to journey toward, but it is the journey that matters in the end.
That's what it is, right? And for me, from the standpoint of longevity, the journey doesn't have to end where we've been told. There's so much more, like Bannister, when he ran that 4-minute mile, it's impossible until it's no longer impossible. And it begins right here. So the journey gets to be whatever you design it to be. It can be crappy. It can be absolutely amazing. And it begins right here and at the power of your own choice. Like I said, to be intentional and design your story that gives you that adventure that you desire and that you deserve.
Beautiful. Okay, last one. Whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now.
Yes, begin it. Like in marketing, we say go ugly early. It's so many people get stuck in I've seen this so many times, especially from an entrepreneurial mindset. People get so focused on it's got to be perfect and what if, and they try to figure out every little variable and take it from 20 different angles, and that's going to keep us stuck in analysis paralysis. So life is in the moment now. And is the life you're living the life that you love? And it's okay if it is or if it isn't. There's no judgment in that. It's simply feedback. Yet nothing will ever change if we as the individual are not willing to change our approach to it, right? Definition of insanity: keep doing the same thing you're doing over and over, like you're going to get the same result. So yes, just begin. And guess what? If it doesn't turn out the way you want, you get to begin again and again and again. Each moment is a new moment. And so the very essence of how we are designed is you can never fail. You can't. All failure is feedback. It's that contrast. Yes, no, more, less, onward, upward.
Yeah. Especially, the journey towards your authentic self.
Yeah.
Then you really can't fail that. You cannot fail being you. You can only fail not being you.
Yeah, you can fail not being you by right, truly not being you. And what I mean is that journey is being willing to accept who you are. Allow yourself to celebrate all the unique aspects that make you, your quirkiness, your silliness, your wisdom, your intellect, your kindness, your strength, your harshness, whatever it is, right? So even if somebody else has labeled that, defined that, and you've got some kind of guilt, blame, or shame around it, so you think you've got to be less than that. And I'll tell you, as a doctor, I see this with many doctors. There's this idea of, as a doctor, you're supposed to be a certain way. Heaven forbid the white coat is off and you're actually a human.
Yeah.
And so right now we live in a culture of, and it's never going away, now more than ever, we need, want, and crave authenticity. And we're seeking it in others. We're quick to judge another. And if you find yourself judging, then that's an indicator you've got to turn the mirror on you. Because what we bump against in emotionally, what we want to, kind of point a finger at towards another is the lesson, the opportunity that life is inviting us into understanding more about ourselves. And so maybe we're seeing something in another that we haven't quite admitted, like, ooh, I do that. And maybe we don't like it, right? But we don't want to admit that we do that same thing, and that's okay. It's just a starting point. And that's the joy of authenticity. Authenticity means you get to be real with you. And if you don't like something, then love it and set it free, and then upgrade it with more of who you desire to be, how you desire to be. You are the author of you.
Oh, what a beautiful way to bring the show to a close. Thank you, Melissa. Hey, if you can hear my voice and you were inspired by today's show, and how couldn't you have been, please donate what you can to WYTV7 so we can keep reaching ordinary people ready to create extraordinary lives. Or you can buy a Zona Plus for your cardiovascular health, and I'll do the donating. Thank you, Melissa. You are a joy and an inspiration too. I love how you've combined your medical expertise of epigenetics with your entrepreneurial flair to create a business that helps clients achieve their highest outcomes of success. A big congrats on carving out a super niche.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I love it. Thank you, WYTV7, for hosting and promoting our show. A special thank you to our sponsors for the entire month of October, Zona Plus and Happy Living. Remember, the more you buy, the more I'll donate. So tell your friends to buy a Zona Plus too. It's good for them. And most especially, thank you, viewers and listeners. You'll find links to websites and social media and all things Dr. Melissa. Find her, friend her, buy her books, join her longevity summit. I'm going to be on it.
Yeah.
It just may add years of healthy and happy living to your life. From me to you, dear friends, I love you and I want you to be happy. We do what we do here on the Something Significant show to inspire you to make the most out of your life, to believe as I do that a better self is always possible today and every day for the rest of our lives. Be bold. If you're dreaming about it, it's time to begin it. For it is on that path, your dream, your unique and distinctive journey, that you'll find the way to make an exclamation mark of significance on the world. Till next time, I'm Matt Gersper. You are awesome, and this is the Something Significant Show. And we're out.